sent myself a love letter. I dipped my quill in blood. I sealed it with my kisses. Just in case a sentence runs. I wrote myself a poem. Proclaiming that I was the one. I said the sweetest nothing. Felt so deeply in the love.
You asked yourself, why do they all want to get next to me? They see something that you don't. Entelechy. You didn't have to say a thing. Telepathy. It spoke for itself, your aura and your energy. It was in how you carried yourself. Even though you were quiet, though you stayed out the way, you went to work and back home again. Made sure to never draw too much attention to yourself. Sometimes you went to the bar or took yourself out to eat, but you were a homebody, a true introvert at heart. Tonight was one of those rare nights. You were hungry and craving attention. In the mood to socialize, you got dressed and planned to go to your favorite bar. However, you found when you got in the car that it just wouldn't start. You rolled your eyes and said, "Please don't do this now. Please don't let me down.
Oh my God.
I want to go have a good night on the town."
Come on.
You turned the key again. Your car sputtered and hissed. You cursed and slapped the steering wheel with a balled fist. You ignored the hair standing on end on the back of your neck. As the engine turned over, you couldn't detect your intuition warning you, trying to protect you from your ego unchecked. You pressed your foot on the gas as the car roared to life. Relieved, yes. You backed out of your parking spot and headed to your favorite bar. You rolled down the windows and let the breeze sift through your hair, which was strange for around this time of year. In the Midwest, late October usually meant hoodies and thermals. This year, though, it was still 80 degrees and sunny. The sun warmed you as it began setting. You cranked up the air conditioner and made a right at the light. You disregarded the chill running down your spine for the air conditioner you just turned on. No need to worry. Yes, everything's fine. You're going to go out tonight and have a good time. You took pictures for your Instagram, hoping the likes would soothe your nervous system. You turned on the radio to set the tone for the night.
Every step I take, every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you.
You pushed the button to change the station, but it didn't work.
Thinking of the day when you went away. What a life to take, what a bond to break. I'll be missing you.
You jammed your fingers into the radio. "Stupid touchscreen!" you shouted as you slapped the dashboard with all of your might. A static came across the radio before it switched to another channel.
Take a breath, take it deep, calm yourself, he says to me, if you play for keeps, take the gun and count to 3. I'm sweating now, I'm moving slow, no time to think, my turn to go, and you can see my heart beating, you can see it through my chest. Said I'm terrified, but I'm not leaving. I know that I must pass this this test. So just pull the trigger, 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 trigger.
What the fuck?
The fuck?
You said as the radio suddenly shut off. You rode in silence the rest of the way to the bar. You pulled into the packed parking lot about 10 minutes later. There was barely anywhere to park. You finally found a spot on the end next to a black Jeep Wrangler. You looked at the ducks lined up across the dashboard and giggled before spotting the shotgun in the back seat. A chill ran down your spine as you hurried past the car into the bar. You hung by the door for a moment before squeezing through the crowd to get a drink. You locked eyes with your favorite bartender and smiled. Things were getting wild. The music was blasting, the liquor was flowing, tongues were out wagging, and asses were showing. You grabbed the shot the bartender slid you and threw it back. Another chill ran down your spine as you caught a group of 3 women staring at you from your peripheral. The feeling increased. It spread over your skin, grabbed onto your mouth, then it opened your lips. You chased it with whiskey, hoping your conscience was being dishonest. You tried not to look at the 3 women staring at you and asked the bartender, "Who was that over there?" "Who was that?" The bartender shrugged and poured you a drink. "I don't know, but they sent this for you." The bartender shoved the drink in front of you and left to serve other patrons. You looked down at the drink nervously, then over at the women. You lifted up your glass and drowned out your intuition. You took one final swig of the drink and set it down on the bar as the women suddenly surrounded you. "Is this seat taken? Can we sit down? You're so attractive. We've seen you around. Are you here by yourself? We should be friends. Link up and celebrate every weekend." You grew overwhelmed as the women bombarded you with their questions and presents. They eerily finished your sentence, like they knew all along what the answers would be. A strange coincidence it happened to be. Bottoms up, you consumed drink after drink. You drunkenly dropped a glass onto the bar. It shattered into pieces, making a mess. Rushing to clean up the shards, you accidentally cut yourself and screamed out in pain. The lights above you flickered and shut off before coming back on. When they did, the glass was on the bar again in one piece. The women all looked at each other, then over at you. "Let us get that for you. We should really drive you home. There's no way in your condition you should be alone.
Come with us."
You wobbled out of the bar on the shoulders of the 3 women and passed out right before they tossed you in the back of their black Jeep. Your eyelids refused to stay open as you slumped over onto the lap of one of the witches. You felt a weight pushing on your back as you became drowsier and drowsier. You tried to make out where you were going, but your surroundings had become blurred. You felt one of them stroking your hair. "Shh, be quiet now. Don't fret, we're almost there." You felt heavier and heavier. Frightened, you were scared. You tried to lift your head, but a presence pulled you down. And the next thing you knew, you totally passed out. Sometime later, you stirred in your sleep. You peeked your eyes open and found yourself strapped down to a chair made of sticks and stones. Tall black candles surrounded you. You flinched as something wet dropped into your eyes. Looking up, you felt your skin pinch as something sharp pushed into your forehead. You looked around relieved. You were in the room alone. You struggled against your restraints, but struggling just caused the barbed wire wrapping your wrist to dig into them deeper.
Ow.
Blood oozed from your wrist onto the altar you were perched on. Beginning to panic, you started hyperventilating and sobbing. You overheard rustling coming from the other room and quieted down. Though their voices were mumbled, you heard the 3 witches talking amongst themselves. They must be sacrificed. They had to be tricked. It was either them or us, and this can't be it. Their awakening is imminent. If they persist, if they're allowed to exist. We cannot harness their energy because it's way too potent. They are of the spirit, the holiest of ghosts. They're on the precipice and they don't even know the potential that they carry, so they have got to go. Your brow wrinkled as you registered what they said. Your awakening.
Me?
Your potential?
Mine?
Confusing. For your mental health, this was detrimental. Spiritual psychosis, hocus pocus, transcendental. Were you as powerful as they all claimed? Classified as confidential. The voices in the other room started up again. If we can convince them and get them to listen, we can rule the world if we bypass their suspicion. We can use their body as a vessel. They can be the host for our evil deeds if we cultivate their power for our needs. The witches, clearly in disagreement of what to do with you, started to argue amongst each other. I have seen their destiny. We have to stop them now. Converting them just isn't meant to be. I strongly disagree. If we figure out their vice, we can stop their efforts, halt the purpose for their life. Hearing their banter made you angrier and angrier. How dare they try to stop what was meant for you? What God promised. Your mind raced as you began tapping into the potential within you. You focused on your restraints. You felt the wire cutting your skin, noticed the rust on its edges, fully perceived how abrasive it was. Your breathing slowed as your mind cleared. Your thoughts powered your intentions as your brain reached theta frequencies. Release me, you instinctively said. Your eyes widened as the wire miraculously unraveled from around your wrist and fell to the floor. You stood up and noticed your reflection in the mirror behind the altar. On your head was a crown of barbed wire. You smiled and adjusted it as it dug into your skin. Behind you, the witches clambered into the room. The one nearest the door went for the shotgun leaning against the wall. But it was too late. You focused your gaze and locked eyes with the witch before their body exploded into pieces all over the room. The witches shrieked as their companions' guts and intestines rained down all over them. A surge of energy coursed through your body. You looked down at your hands and watched as the wounds on them began to heal themselves instantaneously. The next witch made it to the shotgun while you were distracted. Your eyes averted as your attentions became clear. The shotgun flew out of the witch's hands and pistol whipped them into submission. The final witch slipped on the bloody pulp of what was left of their friend. They scrambled into the corner and cried as you flew over to them. Please don't hurt me, please, the witch pleaded with you. I never wanted to hurt you. I was going to let you go. I promise. Your eyes narrowed as you watched them tremble beneath you. Real eyes, real lies, real lies, you said before the witch melted into a puddle of carnage and filth. Entelechy, you better not mess with me. I would hate for you to be one of my enemies. You have no power here. This is my legacy. I was always going to have exactly what God meant for me.